G'day everyone, Goober here with another Torchlight SS6 video. This video will be my attempt at reading the patch notes. Unfortunately, whenever I click on patch notes, it just comes up with an infinite loading screen, so I can't scroll through it that way, but I believe the new way that the patch notes are delivered are just on the tlidb.com/en website, and this is where all of the information for the new season is going to come out. And if you scroll down, you can also look at the information for previous seasons if you so choose. If you're ever wondering about the SS's, Season 1 was Dark Surge, Season 2 was Black Sail, and then it got rebranded to SS1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is actually Season 8. Anywho, moving on. The Frozen Canvas Season. So the season background, blah, blah, blah. You'll create your own maps, and you'll use drops that you get throughout the mapping experience to build a custom map, and then you will run that map based on what you build. A little bit like how Nightmare works. However, instead of just choosing a buff debuff, you'll be choosing a tile to slot in and create your map in that way. Now, this overview will be based on the class that I play, which is the Boom Moto, which is this guy here, Charge Calling. So Charge Calling operates in a way that you summon a minion, it self-destructs, it runs to a enemy, and it explodes. So it's a really fun gameplay in my opinion. Unfortunately, some of this stuff isn't translated too well, although it kind of looks like just as it activates and blows up after 1 second. +1 something, +6 something. But anyway, so if you want to learn more about the character itself, just watch my build guides. I will be putting out a fresh one in the first week of the new season to go over all of that. Since this is the patch notes, I will be looking at some of the legendary gear, etc. that the class uses. So let's first go over the biggest change that I can see that is beneficial for new characters, which is the path of progression, which is just here. There are many different areas where it is giving you guides on how to progress your character throughout the season. First off is the journey, and you'll see a common theme throughout all of these path of progressions is the rewards that you get for completing phase 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. are really quite nice, and they give a whole bunch of pack spirit crystals, which is really, really nice. Some of these will be really easy, and some of these that benefit you a lot will be very hard to get. So starting off, equip 10 pieces of gear. You'll get that in the campaign easily enough. Clear treasure troves, they're all quite easy. You should be doing those during the campaign. Sign a pack spirit. So these are all things that you do in the campaign, and you'll probably complete before the end of chapter 1. And that will give you a pack spirit crystal. So straight off the bat, you're getting 50 jagged primos, 1 pack spirit crystal, and some revive tokens and some elixir of oblivion. So really, really, really nice. So then it goes on to clear chapter 2. So this is all stuff you'll be doing in the campaign again. 2 pieces of gear with tier 7 affixes. That's horrendously bad gear, so you know everyone should be completing that. Phase 3, and then once you get to phase 4, this is where your mapping experience begins. So it just goes through and shows you all the sorts of things that you should be aiming for to progress through time mark 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. Training dummy survival, reach level 90, total resistances reach 160, should be reasonably easy to get. And then as you go down, it starts asking you to complete Path of the Brave, get 5,000 life or 7,000 energy shield, and then it progresses to much, much harder stuff. 500 million damage, which is quite decent. T8 Traveler, that actually gives you a star talent point. And then further on, it goes all the way down to completing the Supreme Showdown for phase 19, etc. And then that is just the journey. And then there is another one for skills, just goes through equipping certain skills and all the way down to equipping 4 activation mediums to automate your character. And one that I think is quite weird is obtain 1 activation medium perpetual motion with 2 tier 1 affixes. I looked at this before and it didn't give energy cores, it gave something else. So I guess this is a work in progress because it gave you a path of progression buff, which is 2% drop quantity. Anytime you see the path of the progression buff, it is a buff that gives 2% drop quant, which is huge for endgame farming because you want as much drop quantity as possible. So that one goes through equipping 4 linked skills, level 21 skills, reaching max energy, precise skills, level 21 precise skills, etc. So you can just progress through that. And as you can see, it gives you a total of 8 Pack Spirit Crystals, which is fantastic. Going through battle, obtain a rare ring. Is this battle or... Oh, it's gear. Gear. Drops. That sort of thing. Equipping all sorts of gear, using your energy cores to re-roll the energy on your equipment, which is really good. Using Flame Elementium, mainly through crafting. Going through crafting rare pieces of gear with Deep Dream affixes. Obtain 5 pieces of priceless rare gear with 1 tier 0 affix. That's really cool. I think they drop like that, don't they? Obtain a soul candle with 2 tier 0 affixes. So I'm hoping that you can just buy this off the trade house, and then once you have it, this updates, because some people don't like the Eterna gameplay, and that'll be a good income stream for those that do like doing that content and selling those things. Perform the Darkest Corrosion. Hopefully there is a cheap ultimate legendary piece of gear that you can just use that on, because the chance of getting a good corrosion is pretty low. So if it's expensive to do that, then that's going to suck, but them's the breaks, I guess. Some of these are obviously chase progression, but you know, it is what it is. If you don't have anything to chase for, then you're probably going to be over the game in a week anyway. Excuse me. On to hero memories. Again, using all the sorts of stuff that you should be using to progress your character into the high time mark 7s and time mark 8s and deep space. Obtain 3 hero memories with 4 T1 affixes. 4? I guess they've changed because they used to have 2. Interesting. Gets you memory scraps. Interesting. But anyway, common theme all the way through, looting stuff. This also has trade house, I believe. As you go down, obtaining parts from each of the different leagues. Obtain 10 deep space beacons, This one's going to be crazy as twin reflections get up to 50,000 flame elementium each. So hopefully the drop rate for twin reflections has been buffed 1,000,000%. Use 10,000 flame elementium. That might be a bit harder unless unless it drops a lot more in this season, which I'm hoping it does. I often spend a lot more than 10,000 flame elementium. I'll just have a quick look. For some reason, Clockwork Ballet does not seem to be coming up on torchlight.com/data. However, you can see that over the career, I've gained 570,000 flame elementium. The last one on here, I just don't know why the latest season isn't on there. But Whispering Mist, I gained 208,000 flame elementium, so 10,000 should be reasonably obtainable, gaining 14,000 in a day. If you want to check this out, just go to torchlight.xd.com/data, and that will show you all the other seasons that you've done, as well as a total for your career. So that is the total for Path of Progression. Goes through journey, skill, gear, hero memories, loot, divinity slates, and challenges. Did I do challenge? Hero memories, loot. I don't think I did challenges. Anyway, it goes through a progression of things that you can complete to progress your character as you go through. Next up, I will be looking at the generic boss monster in pretty much every mobile game ever created that is an ARPG-esque game. Basically, you'll have the Calamity of Ordrak, which is the final boss of the campaign. It'll be a 3-minute timed battle or amount of revives. The more damage that you do to the boss, the higher the step or level that you go through. And I doubt you would get all of these rewards. You'll probably just get the reward for the level that you get up to. So at level 460, you get some flame elementium. Don't know how much, but it'll be a quantity. Excuse me. And then as you go down, and after level 1180, you just get flame elementium tax vouchers that you can use at the trade house to gain back the tax that you've paid. So pretty generic boss here. It'll get harder as you go up, but it's nice to see just an extra daily boss that you can smash your head against on log on. See how you go, see what your max level that you can get up to is, and compare with friends and me, I guess. I might do a challenge depending on how hard it is. If I max it out on day 3, then I'm not going to bother, but it might be interesting to just have people comment and tell me what level they're up to, and give a prize to whoever has the highest level Ordrak at the end of, say, week 1 or something, but we'll get to that when we get to it. The other new thing is the Supreme Showdown. This is where you'll be getting the free legendary pack spirit for completing all these bosses. Hopefully you get revives with these, because there are some bosses like Queen of the Eternal Sun. Sometimes the invincibility shield does not spawn and you die 100%. It is an unavoidable death mechanic unless you are standing in the circle of protection. So if there's no respawns, then this is going to be horrendous, because I know that boss is bugged. Hopefully it has been fixed. And if it's blocking people from getting a legendary pack spirit, you would hope that they have fixed those things. The first few bosses just look like bosses out of the campaign. Then you've got the Eterna boss, Void Sea Bride, and then Lord of the Void Sea. So you've got your base level stuff, and then you've got your uber bosses down the end. Should be interesting to complete this. Andre has put out the challenge. He said that the Chinese market will be completing this in the first 3 days, but us lazy, no, he didn't say lazy, over here in the English-speaking part of the world, we're a bit slower at gaming, so it's going to take us at least a week to complete this. I take that as a personal challenge to complete this in the first 3 or 4 days, to just show that we're not that inferior to the Chinese market. But who knows? I'm not that good at math, so I'll probably take a little bit longer to do this. Alrighty, next up, I'm just going to go over a few of the legendary changes. You can look at the new god here, although there's not a whole lot of information. I'm not good at reading this sort of stuff and then coming up with a build guide, so I'm not even going to pretend. I'm sure someone has come up with a build for this already. However, content on YouTube at the moment seems a little bit slim, so hopefully someone that creates good build guides can come up with something, and you can have a quick look at this character. There's nothing about gear or anything here, so you would have to, do it all yourself, which is not ideal. So I'm just going to go over some of the gear that my character uses. And the good thing about this website is it shows you season SS5 as well as SS6, so you can easily see the changes. I guess the most obvious thing is they've removed legendary crafting. So in SS4 it looked like this. SS5 they removed the last few, and that's all it was for all these, items. So it's going back to the full force. As you can see, probably the most obvious change is the energy shield reduction, which is a shame on a game that they're saying that you really need to focus on your tank. Reducing the base amount on gear is slightly annoying, but I'm sure we will overcome it anyway. So one of the main initiators for my build is the Fiend crown. It's often quite cheap, and you can see it's been nerfed a bit in the minion crit strike damage from 60 to 80 to 40 to 60. Still got the lucky, which is the main part anyway. Sealed mana compensation is really nice, and none of this really matters for my build because my minions just go over off and explode straight away. Attack speed might be nice early until I can get activation medium rhythm, where they just spawn on the enemies and the movement speed and attack speed don't do anything. But anywho, attack speed might do a little bit, but not a huge amount. And then on the right hand side over here, you can see the corroded versions, which is really quite nice. It's interesting that this is saying the sealed mana conversion or compensation turns into aura effect. I wonder if that's just a carryover from a previous season, or if that's actually what it will turn into, because that is good and bad in a way. Aura effect is huge. However, sealed mana compensation early on is really quite nice as well. Going on, let's find the Belt of Overpoweredness, which is the Winter of Origin. This is mandatory for Boom Moto, as it converts your Focus Blessing into something really, really nice. Yeah, Rift of Dimensions, Conquest End, I don't think exists anymore. So drop source is just Traveler, and you get it that way. So SS6 to SS5. Wow, that has been reworked. So it no longer changes the base effect of Focus Blessing to plus 6% additional minion damage and summon skill cost. That has been removed. So for For every stack of Focus Blessing, 4% chance to deal double damage. Doesn't rework that into minion minion damage. Now it gives you plus 80 to 120% additional minion damage when having at least 9 to 10 stacks of Focus Blessing. So previously you would get about what would you get? You would get 4, 5 from the belt. Then you would get about 3 from the slates, which only equals 48% additional damage. No, so additional damage is a multiplier, so that's why this was so enormous. Now it is saying 80 to 120% additional minion damage when you have at least 9. So that would be the better roll here of having a minimum there. So 9 and 120 would be the best roll. This kind of seems like a nothing when you're trying to get 9 to 10 stacks. So this, you're always going to have at least 5 stacks. Well, if you're wearing this belt, you're going to have 9 stacks, basically. So having this downside seems like just stupid to me, honestly. That seems ridiculous when if you're not getting this, then you're not getting the benefit of the belt anyway. Anywho, minor rant there, but whatever. So you're always going to have 5 stacks if you're wearing this belt because you're going to be going for 9 to 10 stacks anyway. 10 stacks are going to be cheap. 9 stacks are going to be expensive probably. And then when you corrode it, again, that seems pointless, but it goes to 130 to 150 of 8. That increasing to 12 just seems ridiculous. That should be 8 to 9, not 8 to 12. But anyway, minor detail. Max life, really nice. Cold res is a staple from previous seasons. Minion attack and cast speed, not bad. So interesting change for Winter of Origin. You're going to have to really focus on getting Focus Blessing stacks on your slates. Otherwise, your Winter of Origin is not going to be the initial explosion of... like before, you would get even a 3, but it would automatically give you 24% additional damage. So it would be a huge boost right off the bat. Now you need 9 stacks of Focus Blessing to really benefit from it that way. The next thing on the build, this has been changed as well. So this has been nerfed. Well, nerfed and buffed. So previously it would give you 1 to 2 skills for every 2 seconds, gain the following in turn. So rotating 100% skill area or 80% movement speed. I had 2 of these, giving 180% movement speed, and it was crazy, which is kind of funny. And now has been changed to every 4 seconds, gain the following effects in turn. Only 40% skill area and 20% movement speed, which goes to 60% and 30%. So that's been nerfed by 70% movement speed. However, it has been buffed to give spell skill level. Correction, it has not been buffed. It has just been nerfed all round. So previously you could have a +2 corroded to +3. Then you could have +3 spell skill and +3 minion skill, having a +9. Now the maximum is a +6. So these may be really, really good early on and fall off heavily unless there is actually more affixes on this wand when the season goes live. Which is really quite interesting because they drop a lot. If they have the legendary aptitude, then you can easily target farm one of these really early. +3 to 5 spell skill level early on is fantastic, and then I would corrode those to try and, excuse me, get +6 pretty early on. Next up, we have Mind Infusion boots. These are all core items for initial startup for Boom Moto. That's why I'm going over these, if I haven't mentioned that already. Max life, minion skill. Previously it was +1, now it's 1 to 2, which is really nice. 30 to 35% movement speed. You would have to craft that onto these previously, well, in last season. These are all stats that were from season SS4, removed in SS5 for legendary crafting. When casting a power skill, triggers a level 15 Dark Gate. Now it's 10 to 20. Cooldown 6 seconds. That's pretty much the same. Additional skill cost, that's pretty bad. However, these are an early game item, so you're probably not running that many auras and stuff anyway to reduce all of your mana. Corroded, we've got +3 minion skill level. Triggers level 15 to 30. That's a downgrade, which is a shame. Hopefully you just avoid that. And a huge boost to life there for the corrosion, which is really quite good. That is the core items for... Nope, I'm missing one. I was missing the most important item. What is all of this? Imaginary monument. I've no idea what those are. Maybe it's referring to the area boss. So previously, 2 to 3 main skill. Your minions can only deal physical damage, which corroded goes to cannot deal physical damage. Crit strike rating applies to minions. Same. Goes to 5 to 7 passive skill level. That is pretty huge. Minion max life, minion damage. Awesome. That's fine because I like the physical version, and that is just awesome all round. +8 intelligence. That doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, it's more useful than minion attack and cast speed, but yeah. So Wardens is a very solid item. +7 passive skill levels, huge. Hopefully these drop or can be target farmed from Steel Forge, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Finally, this video is dragging on a bit, so I'm just going to go over a few skills, specifically around Boom Moto. So this is very interesting. So Summon Spider Tank is the core skill that you have for if you're Spider Boom. So it has been changed slightly. This is pretty much the core bit that you want to look at. 6% additional Spider Tank damage for every Spider Tank summoned by this skill. This has been nerfed to 3%. However, I may end up going with Spider Tanks because of the new Noble Spider Egg support. So you have Spider Tank in the main skill, and then in slot 5, the 5th support skill slot for the active skill, which is Spider Tank. It transforms your Spider Tank Explosion. So after minions summoned by the active skill Self-Destruct, they split into 2 parts and explode again upon landing. The split quantity is affected by splits. Self-Destruct now has the parabolic and projectile tags. This is huge because often on your soul candles, you would have +2 minion skill levels, and then you would have hardened and I don't know, something else. Now you can have +2 splits on there, and now instead of having split into 2 parts, it'll split into 4 parts. So 2 extra, unless it's 2 extra splits, so it gives you an extra 4. That would be pretty sweet. So I'm envisioning a cascading explosion of spider tanks. It does give minus 34% additional damage. However, if you're getting 2 to 6 extra splits, then you're probably just clearing the screen even faster than before, which has me excited for spider tanks. Another really cool change is the Summon Grim Phantom Flicker Noble. So Grim Phantoms are pretty cool early on, except they are pretty slow to go and self-destruct. However, if you have Flicker, then instead of the minion running to the enemy, it teleports. So, where does it say that? When your minion summoned by the supported skill activates self-destruct, it blinks to the enemy instead of charging. For every 1 meter the minion summoned by the supported skill blink travels, gain additional damage for the self-destruct protocol, which is really, really quite cool. So they will be teleporting to the enemy and exploding instead of charging. So that's like a activation medium rhythm light. I will still be replacing this because getting a corroded wardens for the non-physical damage is insane. So this will be an early game thing for me at least. However, there is many elemental Boom Motos out there. And finally, Summon Machine Guard Dead Silence Noble again. This is the self-destruct variant. 40% additional skill area for the self-destruct protocol. Summoned, 39% additional damage dealt to enemies in the center. This is going to be extremely easy to achieve. It does say that when a summoned minion activates, it no longer charges. So that's saying that, or at least in my head, where it's summoned, it will explode. However, if you have activation medium rhythm, they are summoned on the enemy, so you'll always be benefiting from this. So it'll be a huge skill area for the self-destruct on the enemies, and it'll just be absolutely insane if you have activation medium rhythm. So if you are interested in reading the patch notes yourself, simply go to TLIDB Tango Lima India Delta Bravo.com/EN, and you can check out all the changes for all of your characters that you want to check out there. Going through the equipment here, you can find it all. Crafting has been revamped. I can't wait for the crafting this season. It's going to be pretty incredible, hopefully. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. A turn has been revamped a little bit, so you'll be able to check it all out on Friday. That's all I've got for this one. It was a bit longer. I started going down a rabbit hole, but I'm just excited for Boom Moto in SS6. I'll see you then. Cheers.